Hey activists! Solidarity!
We've got a whole bunch of news coming down the pipe. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David, and today's top stories here. We've got Liberals getting grilled in committee. We've got Justin Trudeau getting made fun of in a toy store. We've got an update on the real estate industry. We've got a bunch of other stuff. Let's jump into this. First up, an update here, housing news. We've got this. Shazzy Goli here posting this. The GTA housing market is a slow motion disaster. Average home price 1.1 million, median income 84,000, 3K plus mortgages devour lives. This is true. You can't have these massive mortgages. If one little bump happens in someone's life, you lose a job. This happened to me. I had a big mortgage back in the day, lost my job, had an unbelievable schmuck as a boss who threw me under the bus. Suddenly I can't pay my mortgage. It's a terrible place to be. I know exactly that feeling, and that's why he says here, families are drowning and no one is coming to save them. Yeah, no one is coming to save you. As this guy's saying down here, a mortgage agent, $3,000 on the low end if you're lucky. Most people are carrying $4,000 or $5,000 plus. That's true. You have much bigger mortgages because they're just the values of homes are so much now. The GTA is imploding. Oakville, Ontario. It's not just Brampton. 500K losses on regular occurrence now. You can see here it was originally listed for $2 million. It sold for 1.45. So $550,000 loss on this house. We're seeing a ton of listings, which I have on the next clip here. From economic woes. Guys, I'm telling you right now, buy before it's too late. Spring 2025 is going to be so bullish, I promise. So we've got the GTA here. Look at the unreal amount of listings here for sale. This is outrageous. Will this bubble burst in Canada? It's looking like it. We got this guy saying here, doesn't think the housing prices will ever go down below past 500, 600,000. It's a hard thing to judge in Toronto because that's where all the people, the majority, a lot of them are going to, coming from India. We've got some more premium cringe here from Justin Trudeau. He's a Granville Island toy company here. This lady, I can't find a longer clip, sadly, but she asks him about being called the Governor of Canada.
As the newly appointed Governor of Canada, what are your plans for the American education system?
I'm not going to touch that one right now.
That's some epic level trolling there. Look at him. This guy, his face just like, heh, heh, heh. Oh, that's an awkward smile. Well done, Ashley. Upload a longer clip. We want to see the full thing, the full interaction. He's not a leaguer. He's a joke. He has to giggle for the camera, but underneath, I believe he's absolutely boiling. Remember, he's a failed drama teacher. Yeah, he's absolutely seething underneath here. He doesn't like Trump is just trolling him and humiliating him across North America, across the globe to millions of people. Next up, we got this one here from Queen's University. It says, this is a cult. Remember, Queen's University.
Hey activists! Thank you for resisting genocide in all forms. We love you. We appreciate you.
These people need to grow a brain, seriously. Think for yourselves.
Stay strong. Solidarity. Solidarity.
If all these people want to fight for this, get over to Palestine. Boots on the ground. Go fight for it.
Solidarity.
You know, the beginning of this, the message, at least on my channel here, is like, it's bad this is happening, but let's not cause inconvenience or harm or any sort of bad ill towards other Canadians. But now it's gone to the point where it's so bad, we're calling for the end of Jewish Canadians in Canadian streets and not getting arrested. Why is this being allowed in the university? Nothing weird about that. Nope. These people are so dozy, they don't even know what they're supporting. Count on them either being libs or dippers. Next up, we've got Sophie Trudeau. Remember her? Well, she's doing a book signing here and she's trying to promote her book a little bit before she disappears into complete irrelevancy. So apparently she was at Ottawa last night.
These memories will stay.
We're going to mute this song because it's probably copyrighted, but it's like, she's promoting this book. This is not a woman who's gone through hard times or have to live hard times. She's quite literally, she was the former first lady, the prime minister's wife. She grew up with money. How much struggling has she really gone through? Who's buying this book? Why are people buying this book? Suit yourselves. If you want a real leader to look up to, there are plenty in this world. This is not one of them. I still wonder if she was naive or as vile as him. Probably vile. She needs to give some answers simply before moving on from the fiasco. I counted only 6 men. Quite a lot, actually. The one looks genuinely delighted. Next up, we've got this post here by Conservative Senator Leo Husakos, basically showing the Liberals voting against extra protection for first responders and frontline healthcare workers. Disgraceful.
L'honorable sénatrice Clément.
It's like an old folks home in here.
L'honorable sénatrice Saint-Germain. The Honorable Senator Laboucan-Benson. L'honorable sénatrice Moncion. The Honorable Senator Simon.
Dishonorable liberal senators. There's a comment here. It says, must be bad legislation if these independent senators voted against it. Yeah, that's not how it works. Justin Trudeau has appointed independent senators, even though they're actually liberals. They sit as independent. It's his way of stacking the deck for himself. You look at Mark Gold, who's always the one leading it there. He's independent, but he's not independent. He's a liberal. Next up, we got this one posted by Ryan Garrettson. Says, we have more people collecting taxes than we do within our army. Can you tell where our government's priorities are?
How many full-time equivalents are there right now for the employee count of the CRA?
How many employees? About 58,000 in the agency, about 58,000.
Army of 58,000 tax collectors. The Canadian Army has only 33,899 full-time active personnel. Your army of tax collectors is enormous, Minister, and we are seeing an alarming trend of write-downs and thefts.
This is just appalling. Like, they've increased this number so much. And are we surprised? I mean, look at this GST tax holiday where they're going to need people to collect the tax. They're going to need people to deal with people sending in the amounts of their tax amounts they need to get back because businesses don't have to opt in now. The government just wastes too much money. And somehow they screwed up my taxes last April and still haven't had time to correct it. Next up, we got Captain Schmuck here speaking at the launch of a new ship in Vancouver. I'm just going to play the first few seconds of here. He thinks he's funny. He thinks he's clever. Just listen to this.
This is a historic moment for Canada. This achievement comes at a crucial time in our history as we navigate a world, see what I did there? Navigate a world that is increasingly complex.
Yeah, okay, we get it. It's a ship launching, navigate, haha. Come on, man, go do something. This guy is such a loser. Let's just say it as it is. You see, referring to the sleeping bags that don't meet standard for protection from the cold. Yeah, I mean, they bought a whole bunch of new sleeping bags that don't even work in the cold. Like, everything they do is just a disaster. Next up, we got a clip here of Mark Holland. This is a guy who always goes off the rails. He's doing it again. He went berserk before, started yelling. He's getting fired up again. Conservatives calling him out. He thinks the Liberals are going to win in the next election.
What is your position? How are you going to fix it?
In a year's time, Minister, in a year's time, you'll have lots of time to ask all the questions.
No, I won't, because you'll still be in opposition because you can't answer questions about what you're going to do for healthcare. What are you going to do on healthcare? How are you going to fix those problems? What is your policy solution?
Mr. Doherty, please. Thank you.
What is your policy solution? Do you have any? No.
He's an absolute lunatic. So being in government, you don't get to ask the questions. You have to answer the questions.
Mr. You're the one that's in power right now. You've been in power for 9 years.
What is your solution?
And yet we're failing in every metrics, Minister.
Your solution is cuts.
A year and a half.
Cuts are going to bring down
Minister, please allow him to pose the question. Go ahead, Mr. Doherty.
You're so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And weak. And you can stare at me all you want. Like, I've been mean mug me all you want. But Minister, the rates of scurvy are on the rise. Yet you're taking off the GST on pop and chips and candies, but you are raising the cost of everything healthy with your carbon tax. What's your rationale for that?
Yeah.
A, it doesn't increase the cost. B, if you cared about scurvy, then you'd be talking about initiatives in First Nations communities. The scurvy you're speaking about is in rural, remote communities. The policies that you have to deal with that are exactly nil. And I find it, yes, I'm very frustrated, Mr. Doherty, that the Conservatives would talk about issues like poverty. You know, I was in opposition. I watched you never talk about poverty. You never set poverty guidelines. You have no policies or ideas on poverty. In fact, your cuts will do devastating things to the very issues you're talking about. And I think it is dishonest and disingenuous when you have no solution.
Mr. Doherty, please.
He's going off the rails here. Why didn't the Liberals give some sort of incentive for people to be able to afford healthy, clean food? Why is it only an incentive on junk food? It's a valid point and one he doesn't want to answer.
You're the only one that's talking about conservative cuts. The only thing that we're talking about is axing the tax for everyone forever. That'll make life more affordable for all Canadians. The only one that is spewing rhetoric and garbage are the Liberals and the NDP, their coalition partners. So if you want to start telling the truth, that would be a novel idea.
Pretty heated there. Mark Holland is pissed. He knows he's going to be out of a job soon. Resume's not looking so good. Next up, we got this clip here posted on by Cpac themselves. An old clip of Stephen Harper talking about reducing the GST.
We need to turn a page on broken promises to a bright new chapter in the history of this country, a fresh start of accountable government for everybody. Today, I'm proud to announce that a Conservative government will cut the GST from 7 to 6 to 5%. We will immediately reduce the GST by 1% and then reduce it by a further 1% over the next 5 years. The immediate result of cutting the GST, immediate cut, will be $4.5 billion per year in the pockets of ordinary Canadians. For an average family of 4 with an income of $60,000 a year, this would mean about $400 less in taxes, savings they will see every time they go to the gas station, the shopping mall, or a restaurant. When the GST cut is fully implemented, the total benefit will, of course, be much greater. Now, I understand that Canadians have a right to be skeptical. You've been burned before by politicians who say one thing or do another. This tax cut is different in that this tax cut will be one you will see every time you shop, a tax cut you will experience, a tax break that no politician will be able to take away without you noticing. Some will say we cannot afford to cut the GST. I say we cannot afford not to. This is the best way to provide progressive, broad-based tax relief. It is the broadest tax, the one that hits hardest at ordinary working men and women. In the past 12 years, the amount of GST the Liberals have pulled from your pockets, has increased by 100%. It has doubled. Has your income doubled? Have government services doubled? Canadians have a right to ask where the doubled GST revenue is being spent. The federal government had a surplus of $63 billion in the last 8 years. It's planning on a surplus of at least $55 billion more.
Surplus, folks. There's none of that going on with Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland.
Government has money to waste. Government has money to steal. Government has money to spend on benefits for a few. It's time for benefits for mainstream Canadians, hardworking people who pay their taxes and play by the rules. As I say, it seems like every day in the newspapers we read about powerful and privileged insiders who are better off than they were 12 years ago. We are asking ordinary Canadians, are you any better off? Under a Conservative government, you will be, because a Conservative government will cut the GST and put more money in your pockets. That is why on January 23rd, we're inviting all Canadians to vote for a tax cut they can count on, lowering the GST to 5%. We ask you on January 23rd to stand up for lower taxes, stand up for change, and to stand up for Canada.
How times have changed. Now also, look at these TVs. These things are archaic. Things were so much better with Harper and people didn't realize it. Next up, we got Michael Barrett here. It says Justin Trudeau can't be trusted. He shut down TikTok offices in Canada, but he says it's still safe for Canadians to use the app. I wondered about this because it makes absolutely no sense. They're basically not taking a position on TikTok.
It just seems odd that the government would say, this is so dangerous that we have to close the office, but it's okay for children to continue to use the app. So I guess what I'm driving at here is they need to pick a lane. Either it's okay, it's safe for Canadians, or it's not, and we just don't know. Isn't that a problem?
Well, I'm focused on the investigation that we're pursuing. So we're interacting on this with TikTok. We're asking the questions. We're going to be publishing our report, as I say, as soon as we can. And that will contain our conclusions in terms of compliance with Canadian privacy law.
Next up, we got Justin Trudeau here. Made an appearance at the Rabi Das Sabha Temple in Vancouver yesterday.
This will be a little less expensive because I know we're in a challenging time right now. That's why we're moving forward with a school food program.
Things are challenging right now, so he's moving forward with the school food program. That'll solve everything.
And we're working with the government of British Columbia to deliver better and more food in all schools. Also,
to deliver more and better food. More like delivering easy access to hard candy.
Kids can have full bellies when they go to...
Kids can have full bellies. This guy is unbelievable. So someone replied here with this clip, which is, I saw this earlier, it's pretty crazy. It says, energy for President Trump at the Army-Navy game is insane. That is insane. Next up, we got a surprise truck inspection in Mississauga. So the reason for this, I'm guessing, is because there's some companies giving out these trucking licenses to people straight from India who don't know how to drive trucks, and they're causing major accidents in Canada. So that's why I would suspect they're having these surprise inspections. So we need more of this in Canada. We don't need to see these accidents happen anymore. Good. All unlicensed or improperly licensed drivers should be charged. You can't go on the 401 without witnessing or experiencing a close call. That just says it right there. I mean, there's way too many videos of this stuff happening. There you have it. More madness in Canada here deep into December, and things are still happening here. Considering the government is still shut down now, we're getting close to 3 months. A lot of stuff is still happening. Always chaos with the Justin Trudeau Liberals. Their corruption has no limits. Tomorrow, Chrystia Freeland will be announcing the deficit. We'll know really how bad it is for us here in Canada.